Gayle Saunders here with Brendan Walker of fourthandjawn.com. Brendan, a new writer for Fourth and Jawn, doing big things over here. Recently, Brendan, dropping his first article, maybe his first hot take, his first article. He wrote about the Eagles' offensive line is close to being an elite group. Now, Brendan dropped the E word on us. Now, what makes this line close to being a elite group?
Oh man, Gail. First, I want to put the emphasis on close. Okay, close to being elite. In my opinion, it's close. I think there are parts that are already set, and there are parts that need to kind of just there. Those are the parts that are close. The whole that which makes the whole line close to being elite. And we can get into that. It's close to being elite just because just a few parts here and there need to be improved.
I think the big the big topic was last season, Lane Johnson being out. When the team needed him the most, they needed Lane Johnson. Looking at one of the stats here about the Eagles' offense, and the Eagles scored 27 or more points in 4 of 6 games that Lane Johnson played last year. They didn't score 27 in any of the 10 games without him. So obviously, those two end pieces in Lane Johnson and Jason Peters are going to be, huge for the production of the offense next season. Now, your feelings on Lane Johnson? Is he the real deal? Is he ready to take that next step to, unseat Jason Peters maybe next season?
Yeah, in answer to that, Lane Johnson, for sure the answer at right tackle. I mean, it's proven his loss during last season. Of course, there's other factors, but I mean, his absence for a rookie quarterback, getting that pressure on the right side, I mean, that's where he throws to. That's where he's going to see stuff like first. He doesn't see left side first. So that pressure against him, there was no really real protection there, or the elite protection that he wanted to have
Yeah.
for those 10 games. So Lane Johnson, I think he's the answer, definitely at right tackle. I mean, I think he's the best right tackle in the game. In terms of left tackle, though, right now he's taking some snaps in OTAs. I mean, he did when Jason Peters was back at home resting longer. So he took a couple snaps there, and I think Lane Johnson, if he gets a little groove in, I think for him it's going to be an easy transition to get to the left tackle spot.
Okay, now talk about the left tackle spot. A man who's close to my heart and a lot of Eagles fans' hearts out there. A guy who missed OTAs, but that's okay because he's allowed to because he's a G like that.
Right.
Jason Peters. Jason Peters. Now, a lot of people get concerned when they talk about Jason Peters, holding up.
I think he's pretty durable. I mean, he came back from an Achilles injury, and he's been doing, I would say, excellent some seasons and decent other seasons. He hasn't really gone to like super bad. He has gotten some holding, which, I mean, for mobile guys who really like using their legs, they want to beat them for sure. So sometimes it takes them, the extra effort, and they get caught sometimes. But for him, I think his durability is pretty good. I mean, he's definitely on a decline
Right.
in his career. But
Would you tell that to his face though?
to his face, Mr. Jason Peters, you're on a decline.
There you go.
No.
Yeah, that's something
He brought,
and we were talking to early before we went on. We talked about him making the Pro Bowl last season. I think it was one of the seasons that wasn't really a Pro Bowl-esque type season from Peters, but he does get the job done. Now, thinking about other jobs on this offensive line unit, the left guard position.
yeah.
You were talking about some kind of second year player taking over that spot.
Yeah, that'd be Isaac. That dude Isaac.
Okay. Now,
Yeah,
what is it that you like about Isaac Sumalo?
I like Isaac because, first of all, his versatility. So in training in OTAs, he's able to be put at that left guard spot right now because people are absent and they need somebody to fill, and they chose him to take the first round reps. So he's getting that early practice, and just getting into his groove and trying to improve. But like, so that's one reason why I really like him. Two, he's obviously younger. A lot of the offensive linemen right now are in their older ages, so like the 30s, really late 20s.
Right.
Isaac Seumalo, he's only in his second year. I mean, he had his rookie year. We were talking about earlier, right before that, he played every position last year at some point.
That's impressive for me. That's impressive. From Oregon State where he played, he had that versatility as well. He played from his freshman year on, so he's doing it at the next level. That obviously tells you, his smarts, and he's got grown man strength for his. Who did he put on the ground during OTAs? Was that Curry?
Yeah, he kind of handed it to him. He was rocking it, really.
Yeah, so I mean, I agree with you. I feel like in a sense, if it's close with the unit in training camp, I feel like you have to go with youth. If it's between him, Wiz, and Barbre, I feel like
Right.
you go with Suamalo. Now, talking about moving over a position at the center position, who do you have starting? Would that be Jason Kelsey?
Now, right now, I unfortunately have to say yes.
Okay.
um, yeah, Kelsey. I mean, a lot of people said he needs to be gone. He's too much money. He was terrible last year. There were all these things
Right.
kind of hinting at maybe he'd be cut before OTAs start. Obviously, he's still here. So, and from Howie Roseman, he said they really take pride into the depth of their offensive line. They want to get as many people, have them all grow together, and we'll find out from there. So right now, yeah, Jason Kelsey. I mean, he looks like to keep the job, and I have him right now as a center.
Okay.
But we'll see moving forward. Wiz is also in the competition there. And
Yeah,
I thought it was crazy how that happened.
I think Kelsey's issues with the interior pressure. We're talking about a game like the New York Giants game. If you go back and look at that, you look where Carson Wentz had to move off his spot. That was because of the interior pressure that was right in his face. So I mean, I feel like he has those issues with the 300+ pound guy who's got that grown man strength. If you want Kelsey to go out, pull or run out on a screen, he's one of the best in the business, and that's for sure. Look at a game like the Redskins game. Look at Kelsey
Right.
the move on some of those screens and runs. It's crazy, but I feel like we have three. Like I was talking with E earlier on another podcast, saying that Philadelphia is the only city who has three centers and doesn't trade them away in two different sports. I mean, it's we have great depth. That's something, it could help us out if we needed to Bradford one of our centers during the off season, or if someone gets hurt on another team, we can move one of the guys that we have. Now at your right guard position, Brandon Brooks.
Brandon Brooks, I like his. I just like his stability.
Right.
He came in from the Texans, and he was known as like a mauler. Like he came in, his run blocking was superb. Was like a pretty decent offensive lineman there, and coming to Philadelphia his first year, he got in touch with Philadelphia. Really got like the home feel, around him.
Big fan of
and then came in-
Wawa's.
Well, he went everywhere Philadelphia native like related. And I was like, good for you, man.
Yeah.
That's really awesome. But he came in and was super stable, and he was actually one of the best right guards like playing performance was last year, which was amazing.
The thing I like about Brooks, I feel like he's a super well-rounded guard. You know what I mean? And him overcoming, the anxiety issues. A lot of people were up in arms about him having anxiety issues. It's funny because when I was in college, we had a our one of our right guards actually, he had the same issue. Like before games,
Hmm.
he would violently throw up, spit up blood. He would convulse, and he'd be throwing up in the bathroom, and he'd have to get the trainer would have to come in and have to like give him like almost have to give him an IV because he was just so. But it was before every game, and then
Right.
after he did all that, he went out on the field and played. So I feel like, he showed a lot of heart, man. Like anxiety is an issue that some people don't like to talk about, but
Right.
I feel like I think him confronting that issue and could make him stronger as a player moving forward. Um,
Yeah.
Now we talk about moving forward. We talk about the future of this offensive line group.
Right.
The Eagles did not address linemen in the off season. Um, you know, it's obvious that they're probably looking at linemen. They'll probably look at linemen next season. But some of the younger guys on this offensive line unit, who's impressed you? Who do you feel like? What are your take on the Big V?
Halapalati, however you pronounce it. Uh,
Alapulawati,
we'll call him
Vaitai.
Big V. We'll call him Big V.
Yeah,
Um, I think he's right now like mediocre, like super, like solid, like enough to be a right tackle
right.
because that's where he stepped in. That's where he kind of did his thing, um, and from what we were talking before, he came into that Redskins game, first start,
Murdered.
yeah, completely got destroyed. Probably the worst situation to be in. Rookie quarterback having a rookie protection first start, like for him, but it had to be done. Like we
Yeah,
had nobody else that was available. So
yeah. I feel like those kind of experiences make you better as a player. Like it's kind of like it's failing forward. Sometimes you just have to be in a line of fire to know what it is like to be in a gunfight. Um,
right.
but I feel like he did settle in during the season. So I mean that's promising.
Yeah, he definitely settled in right after, like almost immediately. He would got like something. Some coach must have told him something like get your acting gear, and he got back to being like decent. He did his job. He did his job basically
Yeah.
from what he could do.
Other pieces we have on the line, Chance Warmack, is a retread who has history with the offensive line coach as he played at Alabama. Do you see anything from Chance or you feel like Chance has an opportunity to push, or he's a depth guy for you?
Right now, I think he's probably depth. I mean, he at the very like when the Eagles first picked him up, I was like, he played some guard. Maybe he could just come in and be the left guard
Right.
and do that. But he hasn't really gotten the Philadelphia like. He still has to learn the playbook. He still has to get coked in.
Right.
I know Samalo's still like only a second year player, and I think Warmack is into his fourth year. Um,
He was a first round pick too.
he, yeah,
Like they sometimes they don't draft guards up in the first round. What was he?
right.
Top 10?
He was a top 10 pick, yeah, out of Alabama.
Yeah.
So I mean, I for him, I'd say right now it's depth. In an interview he said he's willing to play like wherever the team needs him, and if that's depth and he wants to play that and contribute, then I'm all for it right now.
Now Wisniewski, another depth player, but I feel like he's the guy that has, he has an opportunity to, if he pushes hard in training camp, he has an opportunity to maybe take a left guard position, a center position, or fill in down the road. What are your takes on Wisniewski?
Wiz, I think, is like probably exemplifies what a backup veteran player is.
Mm.
He's like that guy who is like super solid veteran, so he's been in here for a while. Played center for the Jags, so I feel like he's more comfortable doing snaps, taking snaps, and I'm not sure if he's developed like a chemistry with Carson yet. I know that was basically just Kelsey last year.
For what he was last season, coming off the, free agent market, I felt like he was a decent signing. He did his job and he came in when they needed him. Now thinking about the starting five unit as we heading into the season, Brendan, I want you to give me your starting five offensive linemen for the Eagles.
Okay, my projected starting five. It's changed throughout the time that we've acquired a lineman. It's changed even through some OTAs. But for the 2017 season, I'm going to go from left tackle to right tackle. Left tackle, we have our veteran in Jason Peters at the left tackle position. Why don't we skip to center for actually right now? We'll skip to center because left guard's pretty interesting. Center, we'll go with Jason Kelsey. Right now, I think it's Jason Kelsey who probably has the spot. The competition there will probably be with Wiz most likely. So if that competition, heats up and Wiz goes, then it'll probably be his job, to earn. But for right now, I'll pick Kelsey as a center.
Okay.
Right guard, I'll stick with Brandon Brooks. Decent. He's doing his job. He blends well. And then just the right tackle position, Lane Johnson. Hopefully he stays for the whole season.
Okay.
Because if he doesn't, he's gone for some years.
Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't happen. But yeah, pretty much all solid there. And the one position, we'll go back to the left guard now. The position there, I would like Isaac Seumalo to take that starting position. When we talked about it earlier, for me, he seems like the pick that I want to have. I want him to excel. I know he's a second-year player, but he already played 1 year every position. He's gotten more reps at any other position, last year than anybody did. So for right now, I'd say left guard Isaac Seumalo has the job to take. I want that young offensive line starting to develop.
Okay, I'm going to agree with you on every position. I mean, the left guard position is a kind of like up in the air position for a lot of Eagle fans out there. Could it be Barbre? Could it be Umalu? Could it be Wisniewski? Could it be Warmack? I think that's moving forward into as we progress into training camp. I think that's the position that Eagle fans need to look at. But I want to thank you for stopping in and dropping us with some gems here at fourthandjawn.com. It's all about the hot takes, and I just appreciate you stopping in. It's going to be more videos. You ready for the off season? More videos?
I'm ready. I'm ready to talk. Let's talk some Eagles.
All right. For me and Brendan, this is Fourth and Jawn, and we will be seeing you the next episode in off season episode number 5.